Hey Nelson, alcoholic addict. It's not my real name. Use a pen name here at LOL Sober. I was at a meeting this week and I looked around and I realized how many of my best friends in the world were all sitting there. And it was such a beautiful thing. And I did not always cross the streams of my life. When I first got sober, I treated recovery like, a doctor's appointment. I went for an hour, waved goodbye, headed back to my real life. I put air quotes around real life. On nights, weekends, and holidays, I hung out with friends and family, and they were in a different compartment of my life than my sober network. And then I remember going to my first party where it was only sober people, and man, they were really having a lot of fun. And I remember saying something to my sponsor about it, and he laughed. He was like, "What'd you think, that a bunch of people who spent their whole lives partying wouldn't know how to have a little fun when they're sober?" And I was like, yeah, I actually do think that. I did think that. But as time went on, I realized, sober people are fun, and it's the lane that I want to be in. And I found myself slowly gravitating toward wanting to hang out with sober people more than just an hour every other day or so, more than just at meetings. And it wasn't because I needed recovering alcoholics and addicts around me to protect me from picking up drugs again. I just was happier, and I was more sober, and honestly, better behaved. So, to sum up my point here, I'm better off when sobriety is a lifestyle for me, not just a small part of the day. When I was drinking, I was under the influence of booze and drugs, and now I enjoy being influenced by recovery people. And I'll give you one recent example that made me laugh. I went to a very fun, very rowdy party a few weekends ago with my kids, and it was all sober people at the party, and we had a hell of a good time. And I had a moment where I got cooking on a rant about an airplane debacle I had the week before, and at one point I just blurted out, and on the plane ride home, I got stuck in a middle seat between these two butterball dudes. And the guy I was talking to, he raised his eyebrow, which in recovery is kind of the universal symbol for, hey, you might be acting like an asshole right now. And just as I was translating his stink eye, someone else walked by and said, "Hey, that wasn't very spiritual." And I had to laugh. Years ago, I might have processed that differently. I might have thought oh, these sober people are just being sticks in the mud. But now that I've been in recovery for a while, I don't want to be calling people names. And if I do, I want people to pull me aside and say, "Hey, that's not very spiritual." And so I love that we look out for each other in that way. And listen, were those hairy, sweaty gentlemen on the airplane actually butterballs? Well, that's mean, and that's not something a spiritual person such as myself would ever comment on, obviously. So, hey, thanks for letting me share.